Hi, everybody. It is Sunday evening. It's time called Region Weather Live, where we take a look at the week ahead of us, and then we go a little bit beyond that in the forecast to let you know what we've got weather-wise coming your way as you get settled and get prepared for yet another work week. We don't have any holidays this week, so we're going to work right through it. There's that. I hope everyone had a good St. Patrick's Day weekend, and it certainly was cold. My goodness, we had a set of cold days around here. We didn't get out of the low to mid 20s on Saturday. We were in the 30s today. I know it felt warmer, but we can do a lot better than that. And we will this week. We're going to have a nice warm up this week. I think you're going to like the temperatures. Problem is, the trade off is it comes with rain this time of year. And we certainly are going to get a lot of rain this week. So we'll take you through all of that. A real interesting storm system to watch later on this week in terms of how it develops. Multifaceted. There's many different outcomes with this. But I'll take you through it as always. You'll know what's coming up here on this Sunday evening edition of Region Weather Live. Welcome in, everybody. It is meteorologist Matt Wintz. Good to be with you here on this Sunday evening. Already getting questions from Mark, who says, is it too early to put down grass seed? That's really tough, Mark, because we're getting close to the point where we can do it. I would hold off this week just because it's going to be so soggy later this week. I'm afraid a lot of that's going to wash away. Plus, we have a couple more chances for some of the white stuff around here. Which would, normally grass seed, if you put it down and it does snow or you have a hard freeze on top of it, it's okay. It just sits there kind of dormant and doesn't really do anything. So I would wait a little bit on that. I'm sure we'll have a better set of weeks out ahead of us. Hi to Jeff. Hi, Deb. Ruth's with us tonight. Carl. Justin's with us. Good to have the good old family with us here this evening. A couple updates for you. First of all, I just want to share the story. I was putting my daughter to bed. I don't get to see her very much because she's in first grade. And with my schedule, obviously I work the afternoons and late evenings. And so I'm not home till late. And so I don't get to see her other than get her ready in the morning. So it's always nice on weekends to hang out with her. But I do this thing when I'm putting them to bed. We do roller coaster rides where each kid, hops on my back and I do the same track. It's different every day through the bedrooms and all that. And today we did a spinny one where, you hit a corner and I'm spinning fast, she's on my back. So we got done doing it and she was, I put her up in her bed. She got a bunk bed. And she's like, Daddy, can we do that again? And I said, honey, I told you once, your brothers are waiting. And she's like, oh, okay. And I said, well, come on. Cause she's my daughter. And she said to me, best dad ever. Oh, so I just, well, I know, honey. Okay, you can have whatever you want. Anyway, it was super sweet. Just happened. So I may be a little bit more full of life than usual around here. It's really, really great. So there's that. Couple updates real quick too. Obviously, I don't want to keep you on this Sunday night. I got to get through our sponsors. They are wonderful. How do you support Region Weather? I don't need anything. Just support our sponsors, please. They are wonderful to us. Discovery Travel, they are in peak season right now. I've gotten several emails from people that have used them in the last couple of weeks to plan trips coming up. It is spring break season. It's summer planning season. Before you go online and start planning a trip yourself through Expedia, Airbnb, whatever it happens to be, guys, Discovery Travel, it's trvl.com. They're local travel agency. Don't get scared by travel agencies. They are awesome. It's a team of family. It's a family-owned business. It's a team of local residents that get you better deals than you'll find in any of those websites. And they'll plan it all out for you. They'll plan a little bit for you. They'll plan everything for you. Wonderful group of folks over there at Discovery Travel. So if you're planning any trips, go ahead and support them. Ewing Mechanical Services, that is everything HVAC related. I just checked. They've got a special running through the end of the month, March 31st. It's a tax return sale. If you haven't done your taxes yet, if you have, that's that too. But if you get an AC and a furnace, which are two big components, obviously the house, they'll get you a free thermostat and a free humidifier for the house. It goes with it. That's normally not something that comes with it. So they've got a special on that right now. They've got the best prices in the region as well. Anything HVAC related, anything inside the atmosphere, that's the place to go. If you have any pipe problems, Tiger Plumbing, TigerPlumbing.net. They are our wonderful family-owned business here in Northwest Indiana. They've been with us for over a year. You guys love them. I love them. They're just wonderful folks, wonderful family to work with outside of all that. But they don't charge trip fees to come on out. So if you need a plumber, if you have a leaky faucet, it happens to be that is plumbing related in the house, if water's not going where it needs to go, Tiger Plumbing is the place to go. PSA, you see them on there. It's our public service adjusting company here. They're newer. What they do is they act on behalf. Let's say you have an insurance claim. And it's a mess when you're dealing with insurance. Usually it's organized, but it's organized chaos, right? If you have a good insurance company, they will do everything for you to get as much money from them as they possibly can. A lot of times insurance adjusters or insurance companies will come in and they'll short you and they'll say, well, I don't think it's worth that. We'll give you this much. That happens a lot. New roof, whatever it happens to be. They come in, act on your behalf. They do not get paid until you do. And you'll end up, it's a win-win. You'll end up getting more money out of whatever it happens to be from your insurance company. So reach out to them. Again, they're at publicserviceadjusting.com. That is a local Northwest Indiana business as well. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, our favorite car dealership. Jeep season is in full swing. They've got a brand new line out on the lot, full inventory. They're ready to go in Valparaiso. Again, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And finally, an update from St. Jude House. I want to send this to you from Ryan, who is the CEO who runs that place. He said that they are serving more people in need now, which is awesome. Word is getting out. The whole thing about that is word with domestic violence, physical, emotional, verbal, financial. It can be any of those, right? But the cool thing is that they just launched in February is their mobile advocacy program. They've had meetings that have taken place throughout the region, Gary, Munster, Cedar Lake, and Crown Point with their community advocates. So if there's anything you need, if there's anyone that is experiencing anything domestic violence related, just let them know that St. Jude House can help at stjudehouse.org. Okay. They do wonderful work in the region. Okay. Thank you for letting me get through those. I know your time is precious. Again, they support the show so that we don't have to. All right. And I don't mind getting down here every single night to talk weather with you guys and hopefully give you some useful information. So let's dive into it. Real interesting pattern right now. Everything kind of in flux. Everything's kind of shifted a little bit over what we've been seeing with these large storms coming into the west, southern plains, up into the region, bringing warmer air, right? We've definitely switched that around. You can see all this cold purple up in Canada, infrared satellite, but when these aren't how cold the air is, it thinks it's cold cloud tops. It's not. Really impressive, unbelievably impressive cold for this time of year that we just went through. And you felt it over the weekend. I mean, we had low temperatures in the teens. We had single digit and even near zero wind chills over the weekend. We're recovering, and I don't see any cold air masses like that. I want to say again this spring, but it could still happen. This was kind of at the lower spectrum of what we can do this time of year. It wasn't record setting, but certainly was cold. But that's where the cold air is right now. Look at us that we've got. This big old vector system is all this moist California. They're going to get more rain and mountain snow. They're back to it again this week. And that will kind of spin out in the plains, and we're going to get a pretty decent storm system out of that. That's going to last a good 3 or 4 days. So let's dive right into it. Again, I expect quiet weather tomorrow. Temperatures are going to recover. We were in the upper 30s today after 20s yesterday. The upper 30s didn't feel bad, right? It was still on the chilly side, though. Tomorrow's going to feel nice, finally. We should make our way up near 50 degrees. So there's that. So we're out of this cold, at least for now. This whole week looks mild, which is nice. There's a little system that just continues to show up in the modeling. This is actually along a warm front. But you notice how there's just a couple showers that show up. Have been showing up over the last couple days. I'm going to put in just a stray shower chance late tomorrow into tomorrow night as this warm front continues to try to advance northward into some of that cold air we just had. All right. But overall, tomorrow looks 99% dry outside of this little stray shower risk. And none of the models have brought it here in the region. All of it keep it north, but it's close enough that I would keep it in this just in case. All right. So then things get interesting. All that western push coming through California starts to head out in the plain states. And then we start to get a little active around here. So as we get on into Tuesday, I'm going to look at my notes here because I actually wrote out the entire forecast. And again, when I'm saying write out forecasts, I'm not copying and pasting from Weather Service. That's a popular weather school question is, do meteorologists, do we actually do our own forecasting? Do we, just copy numbers and change them a little bit? In what I do as a meteorologist, I can't speak for the others. I'm sure most do their own forecasting. But I'll use the National Weather Service. They have their forecasts, right? I'll use them as a model. I will treat them like I do a computer model guidance, right? So I'll look at the American model. I'll look at the Euro, which I tend to lean heavily on. Even if it's acting a little bit off, I'll still lean probably 60 to 80% Euro, GFS, and then I'll look at the National Weather Service occasionally, and I'll take their numbers and just treat it like a model. I'll kind of put it into the mix and kind of average things out a little bit. That's how I do my forecasting. So anyway, so doing our own forecasting, your Ivis near 50 tomorrow with a late day shower chance, and then on Tuesday we're probably going to be in the low 50s, but we bring this rain in. This is the initial push of rain with the system that's kind of weakening off towards the north. So we get some rain in here later on the day, Tuesday, okay? As we get on into Wednesday, that system kind of stalls and it lays out this frontal boundary across northwest Indiana and the Great Lakes, essentially. So Wednesday looks pretty rainy. I think we'll have leftover rain from that system that's exiting, and then we'll develop new rain, maybe even a couple rumbles of thunder around here on Wednesday as a new warm front tries to lift north through the region. We could get some heavier downpours. You can see this is the Euro model indicating we've got a chance for some heavier rain to develop back towards Illinois. This is where your phone app's going to start to change as we get into the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, okay? There's lots of solutions from that time period, and that's probably where you're going to see the most change. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday look good this week. Slight late day chance of rain tomorrow. Some late day rain looks pretty definite on Tuesday. And then Wednesday looks pretty rainy. Those 3 days are locked in. Once we get beyond that, there's a lot of uncertainty on where this low develops and how this whole system evolves. So this is Thursday. This is the Euro. It develops a low pressure right over us. That would bring rain in here on Thursday, eventually clearing on out. As that frontal boundary sags south, we get some cooler but more stable air in here late Thursday, Friday, okay? I am actually not leaning this model as of right now. So don't take this as this is what's going to happen. I just want to show you the options. As we get into Friday, the Euro develops a new low down towards the south. You can see we've got some cooler air in place. And that new low, the first one kind of goes by, and then another one develops back towards Missouri. This one comes up through here with some rain and wet snow Friday night into Saturday. And that's a pretty potent low right there. Accumulating wet snow, it doesn't look like it at this point. The low looks too far north and west. But again, I don't think this is going to happen at this point. So let's not get too far into the weeds with this. And then eventually that heads out, and we've got an active pattern with a couple systems zipping through next week. If we remember last Sunday what we talked about, remember when we go long term, we like to talk about anything that we're seeing in the long term that may carry over in the modeling on the go forward. A lot of the long-term stuff we look at is, I call it fantasy land. It's not always 100% accurate, right? It's nothing we should really carry or think about or lose sleep over, okay? One of the things last week I told us we need to hang our hat on is the fact that I think we're going to get a cold spell sometime between March 28th and April 1st. So to end the month, the last couple of days of the month look cold. The models are still carrying that forward, so I still think that's going to happen. How we get there is the big question. So the Euro brings a couple quick systems that zip through here. This is now next Monday, not tomorrow Monday, but the Monday after that. And you notice what it does. It's not that impressed with the cold, but it has cold around in the northeastern states because we'll have some rain and snow with it. Okay, so that's as we look into the latter half of the month. What do I think is going to happen? What am I doing here? Am I going to the American model to say this is what I think is going to happen? What? There's more consensus in the ensembles with this solution, and this isn't exactly how I think it's going to happen, but this is the difference in the two models. All right, so we pick it up on Thursday. Remember, the Euro had rain and a low pressure over us on Thursday, and it took it out of here. It took it down to the south where we dry out Thursday night into Friday. Well, watch what before that whole thing comes back is rain and snow over the weekend, right? Friday into Saturday. So watch what the GFS does. It has the same solution where we have that frontal boundary with rain Thursday that starts to clear out for Friday. And then it clears us out on Friday, but then it doesn't develop that secondary low pressure out towards the west. So we're dry Friday night into Saturday. It develops further east, as we get on into the Ohio Valley and Pennsylvania. You see that? So the whole system goes by, and instead of this developing back towards Missouri, it develops it south of us, which keeps us rain and snow free Friday and Saturday. And then it brings a little zippy system through here later next week. I don't know if I agree with this. This looks kind of weird the way it develops this. It's a big old low with heavy snow in here next Monday. But outside of whatever develops on the leading edge of that, there's some cold air, and this brings a dump of cold air into the entire eastern half of the country, all the way down into the Carolinas once again. Lake effect snow, this would be true. This is March 28th, 29th. We're still cold. There's your cold on the 30th, and then it brings some kind of ice storm in here on the 31st, okay? All right, just saying it's going to get cold during that time frame. We're going to have an ice storm or heavy snow around here. That remains to be seen. But I like the way the GFS develops the system later next week. I like how it keeps it progressive, where it goes by, and instead of it kind of double clutching and coming back as another system, I think there's going to be enough push with it where that secondary low misses us on Friday, Saturday. It'll be something to watch. I could be wrong, but I just have a hunch that's kind of how that's going to go, okay? In terms of the Canadian model, it agrees with the GFS as well, and that main system goes by, so we'd be done with the rain late Thursday. Friday, we would be dry. Here's your second low pressure down here. You notice how that misses us on into Friday and Saturday. If this shifts, or if those models all kind of agree on this and this low shifts further north in the west, could we be talking accumulating snow around here Friday, Saturday? I mean, certainly not out of the realm of possibility. It would be wet snow, as it always is this time of year. And then the Canadian has that cold air kind of diving in here a little bit differently. It spins up a storm system with perhaps thunderstorms, and then look at that same thing, though, real cold air coming in the eastern half of the country, March 29th and 30th and 31st, okay? So that is there on the modeling. In terms of rainfall, I do want to hit on that. I've got one more thing to show you after this before we open it up to questions, and that is I want to show you why the models are diverging on this and kind of the big picture pattern up into North America as a whole, even into the Northern Hemisphere as a whole, okay? So let's talk about rainfall real quick. I want to show you how much rain we're talking. I have this, and it's an inch, maybe up to 3 inches, just given how much rain is expected to settle with that frontal boundary. And let's take it through the proper time frame. So the GEM model, this is the Canadian model. This has anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1 inch locally. Look at that strip of heavy rain wherever that cold front sets up and kind of stalls for a little bit. I think we're going to be a little heavier on the GFS. Let's see. So this is the GFS model, and it would load. Here we go. Yeah, it's got, getting the 1-2 inch range down in Newton and Jasper County this week for some pretty decent rainfall around here. And that's got to St. Louis almost 5 inches of rain. There's going to be some flooding problems down there this week, south, wherever that happens to be, whether it's St. Louis, Central Illinois, down towards Indianapolis. That's certainly possible. And this is the Euro. I want to take it through the right amount of time here. This is through Thursday. There you go. So it has heavy rain just south of us, but it's got that decent strip of the region. So I would say, as of right now, I would say probably 1 to 2 inches of rain this week. May have some minor flooding problems from that by the time we get to Friday. Okay, all right. So why are the models not agreeing with this? This is the big picture pattern across the Northern Hemisphere. This is the cold air that's leaving us now. All right, so we're getting that out of here. Whenever we can get stuff that the greens become yellow, that's where basically your rain snow line is, okay? It's a 540 line is what we call it. Siberia and Alaska is where the models are differing, all right, in terms of when that late month cold hits and how it hits. So there's cold air in Siberia right now, like really cold. That's going to spill into Alaska the next 2 days, all right? So we've got cold air spilling in up there. And then the models just can't figure out where it kind of goes and how it evolves from there. And that's okay, because we're still, a week and a half out. This is a GFS model, which I tend to agree with the most. It breaks off a chunk of that, which heads south down towards Vancouver, Pacific Northwest. That combines with this cold air that's already up in Canada. And watch how it kind of swings in here into next week. This is that cold later on, in the month that we're talking about. It all kind of develops into the plains. You can see how we get a little low above it, maybe the 27th. But bottom line, this is kind of what it looks like in all the modeling. Somehow it wobbles its way down here through a series of cold fronts and low pressures. It's like a pulley system that it just kind of makes its way down here, kind of like Plinko, right? In Price is Right. It kind of Plinkos its way down. And the models kind of differ on how it does that, but they all bring it into the eastern US. And again, all this to say, I want to show you the why behind it, but all this to say that we are going to get colder later this month. We're not done with the cold yet. This week looks great. I think we've got most days in the 50s, may come close to 60 degrees later this week. I don't think we're going to do it. The lows aren't far enough north in this case, but it's going to be a very spring-like week around here. I think the daffodils and all the things that are starting to pop out of the ground that have been popping up, I think they'll be happy with this week. Okay. All right. So that's what we've got. So be happy to answer your questions, and then we'll get you on your way on this Sunday night, as we always like to say. Let me go back to some of the questions I may have missed here. Mark says flowering crabapple trees have buds on them. We'll be lucky enough to see them bloom. I think so, Mark. There's a lot of trees that have either buds that are full on now, a lot of bulbs obviously coming out of the ground. We've got several trees on our property that have flowers or buds that are pretty big right now. Trees have been through this before. All right. So just keep that in mind. This isn't really that abnormal of a spring. We've had warm Februarys before. We've had cold Marches behind that. The thing that we have to watch out for is a prolonged, really cold period. This weekend was pretty cold on all the plants, but they should be okay out of that. I think this week is certainly going to help kind of wake them up again, which is okay. And it's okay if the stuff gets snow on it. It's just those really hard freezes that we need to worry about. Carl asked, where can I purchase a Region Weather t-shirt? Carl, we sold these I think it was last year, maybe a year and a half now. We had a Region Weather store. And I'm planning on bringing it back down the road. It was a lot. They charge a lot of money to run a store. And if you're not making sales, you're just paying money for the distribution, the third-party folks that ship it all out and all that stuff. So it ended up not being very cost-effective to do that. But I will bring it back maybe for a week or two at some point. We have all sorts of stuff on there. And I love these shirts. A lot of you got these shirts, and they're so soft. I just love them. I mean, I'm a big stickler for good t-shirts too, because they're hard to find. But Carl, we'll bring it back at some point. Trust me, you'll know. I'll advertise it on here. Let's see. Adam asks when spring is going to be here. Adam, I think you'll feel it this week. I think this week's going to be pretty spring-like for you. I've got us low 50s and mid 50s to upper 50s later this week. Friday, Saturday gets interesting. It's going to get colder, but it doesn't look too bad. Derek says, hey, Matt, they're saying thunderstorms on Thursday. I think I said that earlier, too. No, that was Wednesday. I was calling for maybe some rumbles of thunder. I could see some thunder on Thursday, too, depending on where the track of that low goes. Tom, I don't see, he asks, are there any severe thunderstorms on the horizon? Tom, I don't see any severe storms out of the system this week. There's just not enough warm air, not enough instability with this. We'll be pretty close to the chance with this frontal boundary, but I don't see it this week. I think they'd be general thunderstorms, if anything. Tina, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Wendy asks, will there be heavy rain? Oh, no. Okay, you changed your days. That's okay. I see it. Will there be heavy rain Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday? Yeah, I don't think, Tuesday afternoon, I don't see a lot of heavy rain with that, Wendy. I see a general area of rain, probably light to moderate with that moving in. That would be late Tuesday into Wednesday. I think the heavier rain would be Wednesday into Thursday with that kind of secondary system as it sets up, as the front sets up. But that's kind of what we're looking at. Tuesday evening, there will be rain around, Wendy, but I don't see it being particularly heavy. It doesn't look like a real well-organized system. It's just slightly organized, if that makes sense. Adria, I got your April Fool's thing. That's funny. Mary's birthday. Mary, happy birthday on April 1st. What a day. I've got a niece who has a birthday on April 1st, too. So I'm sure you're full of pranks and all that good stuff from everywhere else. Justin, I don't see any severe winds or big winds with any of these. The one later this week has a little bit of wind with it, but it doesn't look like a huge wind maker to me. What we would get some wind from is, remember on the GFSs, we showed that cold air kind of rushing in on the 26th, 27th. If that low pressure develops, anytime you have kind of Arctic air coming in, you get some wind with it. That could have some wind, but that wouldn't be till next week. Yeah, Maxwell says the model run on Friday was showing some big storms in 70 Thursday. Now it's 55. Yeah. Maxwell, that's why I'm not too crazy about thunderstorms this week. The models have shifted south on that low on Thursday, and I agree with that. I thought it was too far north initially when I saw it. We never jumped, as a weather team at work, we never jumped on that warm air. It just didn't look right the way the whole thing evolved. Now I think it looks right on the modeling. So I don't see a big 70-degree push this Thursday. I think that the cold air and the rain is going to kind of keep it down further down to the south. So I could still see some thunderstorms too. They would be elevated with that warm front coming in Wednesday, and I could see some storms on Thursday just because it's going to be a dynamic system. We're going to have cold and warm mixing together. Should have pretty good dynamics to it. Rich asks an interesting question. Again, we open it up to anything, Rich, so this is welcome. If an earthquake happened around Michigan, could it cause a tsunami in Lake Michigan? Rich, I don't think so. And the reason why, there's a lot of water in Lake Michigan. I would be more concerned about that perhaps happening in Lake Superior. Lake Superior has a lot more water. But no, I don't think that's something we have to worry about, Rich. And the reason why is just the scope of it, the amount of water compared to an ocean, where you get these big events happening. I don't think it's enough water to really cause anything more than what we'd see with a big wind event. If some of these winter storms that come in, or fall storms, we have 10 to 15 footers out on the lake. I don't see anything more than that. Again, I'm not a tsunami expert, but that being said, I don't think it's on a big enough scale. Justin, I appreciate that. Justin says, thanks. Always look forward to Sunday nights. I really do too, Justin. I don't know how long we've been doing this, but we've been doing this for a while. And I appreciate you guys, taking time out of your schedule. I hope the timing's good on this. And again, the whole point, I want you to hear my heart on this, is that I want you to be prepared for the week ahead weather-wise, all right? I don't want it just to be an app where you're looking at weather symbols and not understanding them. I want you to look at your phone app, whatever that happens to be, and understand where the changes might occur, which would be Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week, and what you're seeing, and that way you understand kind of the symbols on there or whatever it's saying. So, Ada, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you for that. Rich, you're welcome as well. All right, guys, I think we got through it. Again, I appreciate you so much. Have a wonderful week. Obviously, we'll be on the radio side of things this week on X-Rock, Indiana 105.5 and Z107.1. Our forecasts are always on there. We're on the morning show as well, keeping you updated, and we'll always have updates, as we always do, on regionweather.com. Remember, there's a subscribe button on there where you can get the email forecast in your inbox every single morning. It's just usually once a day. You'll get a nice little write-up forecast locally for what we're expecting to happen. That's all on regionweather.com. Okay. All right. Have a wonderful week, everybody. We'll be with you again soon. Okay. All right. Bye.